When the world's leading players clash, there's only one thing on their mind: winning. The Australian Open starts Monday live on 7.
Welcome back to Kooyong and the Colonial Classic, Day 2 of this particular event. As I said prior to the break, a program that so far has been shrouded in drama and some controversy. Joining me behind the microphone is Alan Stone, who wears several hats. One is that of a Davis Cup selector, and he awoke this morning to turn the radio on and read the newspaper, the news that Patrick Rafter was going to call it quits, and he immediately went into a state of shock.
I did.
Have you recovered at all?
Well, it certainly ruined my wheat bix, I can tell you that. But on reading the article a bit more thoroughly, I don't think Patrick has actually said he's definitely retiring at the end of the year. There's a chance that he may, but I think it's up in the air a little bit. As we have a look at his opponent today, hardly needs any introduction. Pete Sampras, 63 career titles, 13 Grand Slams. He broke Roy Emerson's long-standing record when he beat Pat in the final at Wimbledon. Truly one of the greats in the history of the game, Pete Sampras. He's got a few more years yet left in him as well at 29.
Yes, he's 29, and Pat, who's talking of quitting at the end of this year, is 28 years of age. But having a chat with his brother Peter, he wasn't overly concerned, but he does feel that his brother does want to do other things and pursue other interests. 10 career titles. Of course, highlighting those titles are the 2 US Open victories, 97 and 98. And did have a great chance at Wimbledon last year after that epic semi-final win over Andre Agassi, but eventually went down to the man who has 6 Wimbledon titles in 7 years, Pete Sampras. Promises to be an entertaining match, though. Rafter and Sampras, they've met 14 times. It's heavily in favour of Sampras, 10-4. Our umpire for this match is from Japan, Noriyuki Okamura, and we'll be back with all the action after this break.
You, Ally McBeal.
Will you?
Or won't she?
Welcome back to Kooyong. Both of these players, Sampras and Rafter, coming off losses yesterday. Rafter looked a little rusty, going down to Kafelnikov. Yevgeny winning 6-2, 6-2. Pete Sampras also out of sorts against Juan Carlos Ferrero. Ferrero winning 6-2, 6-4. But with this format, players have the opportunity to play at least 3 matches, and in so doing get some very valuable preparation time and court time for the Australian Open. Sampras looking skyward. There's a little bit of cloud coming across. The change may arrive a little earlier than we thought, but here's Sampras serving, opening game.
And if you're a serve bowler, this will be a delightful match for you to watch, because we've got 2 of the best here. And it's a facet of the game that's disappearing, unfortunately.
Fair comment, Alan, that yesterday both players looked a little rusty?
Yes. Pete's game, I thought, looked a little better than Patrick. I thought he was a bit disappointing yesterday. Quite a few doubles and missed easy shots, and really was really struggling. Both played players who hit the ball well, though. Kafelnikov hit it very well against Rafter.
30-15.
And Ferrero against Pete.
And Sampras 22 unforced errors yesterday.
Yeah.
Very unlucky.
Still got this hot northerly for the players to contend with here, so again, not easy conditions today.
40-15.
Had a great final at Wimbledon this year, and Rafter, or last year rather, Rafter, we'd be happy if it was again this year. Last year, Rafter won the first set in a tie-break, and in the second set, tie-break led 4-1. He was oh so close to leading 2 sets to love. And Patrick's win against Agassi in the semi-final was really one of the great matches at Wimbledon in the last 18 years at Wimbledon. It was a real connoisseur's delight.
Game Sampras. First game.
So a pleasant warm-up in his opening service game for Pete Sampras. Extraordinary record, isn't it? 63 titles. Won just a couple of times last year, which by his lofty standards.
Yeah, but he won the one that counted.
He did in Wimbledon, yes. And he also won in Miami, defeating Gustavo Kuerten in the final there.
And Patrick had no rhythm at all yesterday on his serve. He had to stop in midstream many times on his serve. Lost control of the ball toss. See how he goes today. Had a lot of problems with the sun from that southern end. Well, it is clouding over a little, so it should make it a bit easier for him.
Oh, 15.
Doesn't help your confidence to start off and you get foot faulted on your opening point that you serve. Perhaps the right foot maybe when he brought it up there. Sometimes if your ball toss gets a little out of your hitting range, you have to extend forward a bit more than you usually do.
15 off.
Here's the service motion of Rafter. Good slider there down the centre, coming around the side of the ball.
30-15.
Not a serve that has tremendous speed as say a Philippoussis or a Rosetsky, Krajicek, but it gets a lot of work on the ball. It gets to bounce up and he follows it in very quickly for that first volley. That looked okay. Call the fault. So I don't think we'll see too many long baseline rallies in this match.
40-15.
Which in these conditions is not a bad thing anyway.
No. Well, that was a good bit of improvisation from Sampras. Jammed there. He's had to block it back with the right hip.
Game Rafter. One game over.
Certainly a better start as far as his serve is concerned than we saw yesterday for Patrick. He's preparing to play in his 32nd Grand Slam event, next week's Australian Open. This man preparing for his 45th. Quite an extraordinary record when you think that he's won 13.
Yes.
13 out of 44.
Well, when he gets to the final, he usually wins. He's been runner-up only a few times. He's really a proven big match player, Pete, and I think there's a couple more Grand Slam wins left in him.
Close in last year's Australian Open, semi-final loss to eventual winner Andre Agassi.
When you can serve as well as Pete can for long periods of time, you've got to be a contender really here, Wimbledon and the US Open. Not so much a contender at the French on clay.
Game Sampras.
Game's going with serve early on in this first set.
Sampras
Best of 3 setter here at the Kooyong Classic. There's no doubt that Kooyong, and much of Australia, has been buzzing with the news of the Rafter quote that he could be quitting at the end of the year, but I think we should clarify the reason why. And basically it concerns that right shoulder. It has been a major problem to him. It's still not necessarily just the injury, but it's the preparation that he's got to go through to get right.
Yes, every morning when he wakes up,
Yeah.
he's got to do a fair bit of stretching, mobilising the shoulder, and day after day, week after week, it becomes such a grind.
Yeah.
And it saps a little bit of the motivation. The shoulder itself is okay in the matches, luckily, but it's, as you said, it's the preparation to get him out onto the court.
Yep.
This is the thing that's wearing him out mentally. He looks a lot sharper here today, though, in the early stages of this match.
Well, I know he was disappointed with the way he performed yesterday, but even so, he did say afterwards he was still confident of giving the Australian Open a really good shake and believes he's playing well enough. He'll know on Friday morning how the cards have fallen for him as far as the draw is concerned, and you too can see that on 7, 10:30 Eastern time for the draw for the Australian Open, men and women's.
Good pick up off the first backhand, unable to repeat off the second. So the sharp shots here, as we'll see it again from Sampras. Good low one, and follows it up with a very similar backhand, forces the error.
Game Rafter.
That's Rafter's trademark serve, not hit with tremendous pace, but hit close to the lines, kicking up high, and then he's all over the net for that first volley if required. And it's a very effective weapon, the serve, for him, when he's able to get that bite on it. And it's sometimes where he's had the shoulder problems, he hasn't been able to get the bite on the serve. And if you're going to be a serve volleyer like he is, it's got to be working for you.
$15.
Well, gee, that looked inside the line.
Very good.
And Rafter's happy to concede that one.
Pete's just dry smile, shake of the heads.
The heat's got to Mr. Okamura.
No, he's all right, Nakayuri.
$40.
So Sampras is starting a little better here today in this second match for him. And a pretty careless volley there. Beautiful jamming second serve. One of the great second servers in the game. Usually it's a great relief if a big server misses his first serve, but in Sampras's case it's not that big a difference. He's still got a heavy kicking second ball.
Rafter not going for power but more for placement and finding his target.
Yeah, short backswing here, just blocks it out in front. Nice control of the racket head there to get the angle. And exactly the same, this time down the line off the backhand side. So the signs are there for Patrick that his form's picking up from yesterday. 40 love to juice here for Sampras.
Advantage Sampras.
There's a good example of Rafter not going for too much on the backhand pass. Good return low, the half volley has to come up. Now he just takes his time, just measures this. Doesn't try to really cane the ball. Oh, good tennis. After working Sampras out in that point, but he was equal to it. He's got control at the net. And eventually comes through. Chance again to hold serve.
Game Sampras.
The first real test for Pete Sampras. He comes through it with flying colours. In fact, with his first ace of the match. It's 3-2 in the Americans' favour. Both players making their way back out onto the court. Both players very, very generous with their time and money when it comes to charities. Certainly know the deeds of Patrick Rafter, but Pete Sampras, wasn't so long ago that the racket he used in the 1990 US Open final was sold at auction for $50,000 in a fundraising auction for Tim and Tom Gullickson's foundation.
Did that make it or is it wide? Patrick's just having a look down.
Made it.
It hit so sharply. It's been called good. Good eye.
15 all. $30-15.
So serve volleying exclusively here. First and second serve so far for both players, as we would have expected. Well, Patrick that time not serve volley. And that allowed Sampras to attack. Stays back here. It's forced onto the back foot. Mid-court ball, which Pete hammers that off forehand, a shot he hits so well. And that's Rafter at his athletic best.
47.
This is what we've seen so much of him when he's been really playing well. Lovely coverage there at the net. And good touch.
And he holds serve, levels at 3 games all. Big day coming up on the 14th on Sunday. Just a reminder, if you are interested, we'd love to see you show your support for the Kids Tennis Charity Day. That's at the Vodafone Arena at Melbourne Park. There's the number you can ring for inquiries, but you'd be able to see one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, Rocket Rod Laver. Gustavo Quirton will be there, Leighton Hewitt, Fitzy and Wally Masseur. Some really big names. The Supermax, plus a number of other sporting stars, all at Vodafone Arena on Sunday. And I might add that day gets underway at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, a good start to this game by Rafter. Fine running pass there. So I think he'd be much, much happier today with his form. It's only early days. We've only played 6 games, but already much higher quality than he produced yesterday.
Love serve. Love 40.
Well, the first break points.
Sampras mixing it up. 2 aces, 2 double faults.
$15.40.
Saves 1. Sampras hoping that he might just stay here and get Sampras to go for the wrong footing volley, but no. Right on the line with that second serve, so living dangerously, Pete.
Rafter. Game Rafter. New ball 2.
So the first break goes the way of the Australian. Patrick Michael Rafter takes it and leads 4-3.
Times.
Just the 1 service break to date, that being in the 7th game and going the way of Pat Rafter. They've had some mighty tussles over the years, these two. 14 in all, of which Sampras has won 10. After the other 4. And here is Patrick serving now, leading at 4-3 in the first.
Love 15.
Well, forced into that drop volley almost, because you could see Sampras moving forward putting pressure on the volley. Decided to try the angle one.
Left, second serve.
Just. Disappointment there for Pete after getting the opening point. He really had a good shot at that second serve on his forehand. No footwork there from Pete, bit like the last shot. Annoyed with himself. See it here. See, anchored to the baseline. No little adjusting steps that he just give himself a bit more room.
Again, foot faulted.
Twice now on a second serve. Bit hard to tell off that one. He does bring the right foot up pretty close to the line. That back foot. And sometimes in this wind, if the ball toss gets away from you a little, you just overextend a fraction to reach it, and that's enough to maybe get onto the line. Well, bad miss there from Sampras because he made the good return. Rafter had to volley up. He had plenty of time. Not much on the ball there. He's got all the time in the world and really just overhit that one by quite some margin.
Game, Rafter. Rafter with 5-3.
Rafter's trademark's kicking serve there.
A reminder of Sports World returning soon to your screens. In fact, on January the 28th, just check your local guides though. New look Sports World with the new panel format with Joanna and Dermot.
Love 15. No. Thirty 15.
A very heavy serve there from Sampras. Lovely action. As he bites into the court and kicks up at Rafter.
Better service game for Pete Sampras there. Stays in the first set, but he's down 4 games to 5. Sampras getting his service game back together to stay in the first set at 4-5. Can Rafter now serve it out? A 28-year-old who turned professional in 1991. Carried the Olympic torch this year at the Opera House. Here he is, serving to take the set. Vintage Sampras.
Love 15.
Yes, Rafter had to make a little bit of room to make that off backhand volley there, and that was all that Sampras needed.
$15.
Replacing that shock absorber that's down in the strings at the bottom of the frame.
$30-15.
So a bit of a mixture in this first set from Sampras, some brilliant shots and then a few mistimed ones.
And that brings up 2 set points for Patrick Rafter. Set has been in progress for just on half an hour. Just requires the one and does it with an ace. Pat Rafter takes the first set. 6 games to 4. Took Rafter 33 minutes to take the first set, 6 games to 4. But a far better looking Patrick Rafter than the one we saw in action here yesterday. Perhaps the cloud cover that's coming across from the southwest may prevent the temperature from hitting 39 or 40. Still very warm at the moment, but there is relief in sight, we are told, as you can see there. Cloud cover starting to drift across.
Time.
There has even been talk of thunderstorms later on in the day. That's not a lot of relief for Pete Sampras at the moment, though. Down a set. Comes striding up. And will open proceedings in a second.
Never wears a hat, Sampras. Just looking up at the sun.
$15.
It's one of those things. He never learnt to play in a cap when he was a youngster, and now finds it annoying if he plays in one.
$15.
Still hasn't quite got the timing though on that forehand volley. He's not really a killer first volley, as some maybe as a Rafter is. He just pushes the ball deep and is ready for the next one. It's a very sound volleying technique, but not quite perhaps as much punch maybe as a Rafter or a Henman.
$30-15.
And he gets so many easy first volleys as well that are above the height of the net because of the quality of his serves usually. Got a bit excited there, didn't he, with that one? There's a beautifully placed first serve and a reasonably awkward height. He had to quickly decide whether to smash it or play a high volley. In the end, he went for the smash. It was just fractionally too low, perhaps, for that.
40-30. Deuce.
Well, this backhand chip's working effectively for Rafter. A short backswing, firm wrist.
Advantage Rafter.
Well, surprise there. Sampras serving and staying back, just underlying that he's not really that confident at the moment. Rafter winning the baseline duel, earns a break point.
Deuce. Advantage Sampras.
Well, heavy second serve there. Deep, just beating Rafter with speed.
Game Sampras.
Sampras escapes, gets out of trouble and is on the board in the second set.
It would have been pretty handy for Rafter to get that break point there, setting a break. Would have been a very nice position for him to be in. Sampras is still a little concerned with his form. Just rehearsing that backhand again, just standing a little upright on it.
Alan, I imagine you've spoken to our Davis Cup captain and coach, and they're, like you, very keen for this man to continue playing for as long as he possibly can.
Yes, John Fitzgerald had had a few phone calls this morning. Well, complete mishit there from Sampras. The ball skidding on him and he attempted to topspin it.
Game Rafter.
Pretty easy service game in the end for Patrick Rafter to tie it up in the second set. These matches, of course, the best of 3 sets.
Sampras would be a little disappointed at the moment with the way he's timing the ball off the ground.
15 up.
Well, he's still yet to win a set this week.
Touch it up. Tee up. Game Sampras.
Pat taken right out of court. Sampras holds serve,
Game 2 up.
and he leads 2-1 in the second set. Rafter now with this breeze stiffening a little. This isn't the end he's had his problems with, though, as far as ball tossing is concerned. Let's see how he goes.
$15 up. Set it up.
It's been the major problem for Sampras, the backhand.
Set 15.
Here's Juan Carlos Ferrero. Picked that up very early yesterday and really went to town on it. Was able to beat him in straight sets.
Left. Second serve.
A couple of better backhands. Chip return on the previous point. And then nicely controlled pass there. Stays down on that shot.
Third. Deuce.
Well, good footwork there that time by Sampras. Anticipating the kicking serve, he got out and across it very quickly. And you can see there, then he's able to produce an angle of his own.
Advantage Sampras.
A much better returning game from Sampras, and for the first time in the match he's at break point.
Deuce.
And nicely saved in typical Rafter fashion.
Advantage Rafter.
6 aces to Rafter, 2 to Sampras.
Sampras always in control of that rally.
Deuce.
Makes it look easy, Pete. And just moves to the right spot, just pushes it back into the vacant corner. Things really picking up now for Pete.
Advantage Sampras. Deuce.
Good body serve there from Rafter, kicking up into that right shoulder area of Sampras. A difficult shot to return. Oh.
Advantage Rafter.
Well, did he leap on that forehand volley?
And with his 7th ace, Pat Rafter holds serve. Levels it to all. Good news for golf fans is the return of Steve Elkington to Australia. We haven't seen him out here for a number of years, but the good news is he's coming back to play the Greg Norman Holden International, along with Sergio Garcia, Aaron Badley, Michael Campbell, and of course their host Greg Norman. On 7 from the 8th through until the 11th.
15 up.
Sampras opening up with ace number 3.
A very high quality game, that previous one. Rafter some aces and some excellent volleys, and Sampras really picking up with his ground strokes.
Satira.
It's all done with a minimum of fuss in Sampras' game. Easy power he's able to generate.
It's probably the sort of game, Alan, too, that could see him continue to play in the sport for a number of years to come.
Oh, I think so, yes. Yes, I'm sure he'll look at his schedule each year and plan it around the Grand Slam events, which is what his main interest is now, Pete.
40-15.
Oh,
Well, ground strokes have been picking up, but as we saw in the previous game, but still a little concerned with his backhand, which he feels he should have made that one. It was just a routine rallying shot off the backhand.
Game Sampras.
so Pete holds serve.
3-2.
3-2 situation in this second set.
So cloud cover now at Kooyong. A little bit more pleasant for the players. The breeze is still there, or the wind. But Rafter said yesterday after he lost that sun about this time of the day from that southern end does give him some problems. He's just adjusting his footwear. So might be one of the reasons why he's serving better today. This light cloud cover. He looks a different player though. He's moving well. He's got the confidence in the volleys and getting that kicking first serve going nicely. Only been in trouble once on his service game, that last one, which saved 2 break points. And altogether a better performance today from Rafter. Sampras still struggling a little. So Rafter 6-4, 2-3.
$15.
Well, again, that having to stop midstream there. Hazy sunlight at the moment.
Oh, yes.
And raises his arms at last, the backhand.
Best point of the match.
Well, Rafter showing us his athletic ability here, and it looks like he's got the point after lunging here for that. Full flight there.
$30-15. $40-15.
Paying the penalty there for not getting that swinger to cut away.
40-30.
He served it well so far, but you'll see this one. Pete can just lean across there, catch it in front and return the angle. That's the third time, all on second serves. Well,
Advantage
just wouldn't
Sampras.
miss that in a bit. Normally, maybe just shaken up a little about the foot fault calls, but back with a lovely swinging serve, exposing the whole court. Big chance now for Sampras. Break point, second serve.
There's the break, and frustration showing for Pat Rafter. That call of foot fault, the third one in the match, certainly had a detrimental effect on him. And also the sun drifting in and out of the clouds, making it difficult at that southern end of the court.
Rafter just changing rackets. I think that last one was a bit the worse for wear.
That's a used racket.
Well, disappointment for him there. He had the game, he thought, and that second service foot fault called.
So Sampras serving, trying to take a 5-2 lead.
15-up.
Well, I think almost in two minds there as to whether that was going to go in or not. Sampras played it a little nonchalantly.
$15-7.
Got it. Hooked that one in.
It brings up 2 points for an immediate break back for Rafter.
Well, this volley from Sampras is right on the line. And Rafter racket back nice and early and hooks that in, comes around the side of the ball. Well, the wind moving the ball around there, making it difficult. So drop volley was a courageous shot from Sampras. 15-40 point.
There's the break back. Rafter back in the second set. He trails 3 games to 4 after taking the first 6-4.
Sampras leads 4 games to 3.
What?
2 breaks back to back. One moment, Sampras is looking the goods, but Rafter had the answer. Pat now to take up serve, hoping to level at 4-all. Both putting up a much better effort than we saw yesterday.
Sharp return there. Sampras taking it early.
12-15.
It's times like this, Pat Rafter needs a ball toss like Roscoe Tanner.
Nice and low.
Low? Hardly went above his head. And the racket came round like a windmill. But he could play, could Roscoe.
.30-15.
Well, still a mixture off the ground in this match for Sampras. By and large, though, I think he'd be still disappointed with his level of play off the ground. Rafter's moving the ball around, he's kicking the serve at him, but Pete really hasn't timed the ball well yet.
Game Rafter.
So Rafter has the set now back on an even keel, tying it all up at 4-all. Don't forget, of course, the one they're looking forward to, and we are too. The Australian Open from Melbourne Park gets underway on Monday, January 15, with the final day of finals on the 28th of January.
Love 15.
Lovely lunge return off that serve. Sampras surprised, I think.
15-7.
I mentioned the Open starting on Monday 15. Don't forget the draw of the Australian Open. We'll be able to see on 7 from 10:30 Eastern Time Friday morning.
Satyo.
Big point, this one. And disappointment for Rafter, just fades wide.
.40-30. Game Sampras.
Sampras holds serve. When we come back, Patrick Rafter will be serving to stay in the second set. We talked about those grey clouds drifting across. They are getting closer. Possibility of rain a little bit later on in the day, which will be a welcome relief, I'm sure, to many in Victoria. The state has occurred a number of really sizzling days in recent times. Here's Rafter serving at 4-5, second set.
15 up.
8 aces now to the Australian.
See Pete there, little skip step and then leaning to his left, so didn't pick that one at all.
$15. $30-15.
holding that backhand sufficiently for Sampras to put his weight on the right side.
40-15.
After hooking it back cross court.
Left. Hustle. Game Rafter.
Pretty solid service going for Pat. He levels at 5-all.
Yes, he's getting some good bite on his serve today, unlike yesterday. Clean as a whistle.
Love 15.
Well, Sampras, not too bad a volley. Rafter really stayed down nicely and threw that ball. Sampras paying the penalty for going for the drop volley. Has to be perfect on rebound ace.
Love 7.
And easily dealt with by Rafter.
Trouble now for the American.
Love 40.
3 points for Rafter to take a 6-5 lead with his serve to come.
Left. Hustle. $15-40.
Well, Rafter just swinging above that one, just mistiming it, misjudging it.
Ace number 4. So the first serve at the moment doing the job for Sampras as he tries to extricate himself from this hole.
Well, it saved him many times in his great career, the first serve.
Deuce.
And just another occasion. Back from love 40 to deuce. See that percentage of first serves in. And won quite as many points on it as you would expect, actually.
Advantage Sampras.
So even when you get Sampras love 40, there's no certainty that you're going to break.
Deuce.
Well, he's really mad with himself.
Advantage Rafter.
He's missed a tremendous number of straightforward shots here.
So uncharacteristic.
Well, the timing and the confidence just not there at the moment, but the whole court doesn't need to hit it as close to the line.
Fourth break point.
Well, there's a little bit more urgency about the way he played that
Deuce.
volley. He accelerates in very quickly, and no mistake there.
Advantage Sampras. Game Sampras.
Finally, his serve gets him out of trouble.
Sampras leads
He
6
leads
games to
6
5.
games to 5 in the second set.
Good effort from Pete. That's why he's been one of the world's great players, even at love 40. You think you're going to break serve, come out and serve for the match, but no guarantee. Sampras saving 4 break points there. And the pressure back on Rafter now at 5-6. Served well today, though. Again, under difficult conditions. So good signs in this match from Rafter.
$15. $15. $30-15.
Well, that was a good pickup on the half volley from Rafter, forcing Sampras well behind the baseline.
$40-15.
Routine volley here.
$40-30.
Well, Rafter having to cover some court here. A lot of slice on that volley. And just collecting his breath after that point.
So we have our first tie-break set today. After holding serve and levelling at 6-all. Remembering, of course, that Rafter took the first set 6 games to 4. The match has been in progress for 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Sampras.
Rafter's athletic ability saving him in that point. A good return this time from Sampras.
Sampras.
So the early opportunity now with Pete Sampras here in this tie break. I don't know if he hit an out ball or not there. He had the lunge and it was high. Wow. One of the shots of the match, because there was a good quality volley from Sampras.
3-2, Rafter.
A real turnaround here for Patrick Rafter. After dropping 1 point on serve, gets 2 back on Sampras, now serving at 3-2. Sampras quick to get 1 back.
Quite a few points going against the server in this tie break. Three all.
Pat now serving at the southern end, and this is been the problem end as far as he's concerned with the sun, and again it's made another appearance overhead.
What's that? You ain't moving, is it? It's not moving, I'm trying to make it move. Alright, I know you're powerful, you know.
Pete just can't believe it. He's hit a ball also in that rally. This wind again is swirling around here. He just hasn't been able to come to grips with his ground strokes at all. There's been flashes of brilliance from Sampras. It's a good thing that serve is as good as it is.
It's going to have to be good right now.
4.
Problem is, this wind is gusting rather fiercely now.
Rafter.
Oh, what a time.
I have to suggest that's one of the rarities in world tennis, seeing Pete Sampras serve a double fault in a tiebreak.
Well, it's given the opportunity for Rafter to win the match if he can hold these next 2 points. Oh. Well,
5-all.
Absolutely. Well, critical time. But if Rafter wins that point, he's going to be at match point. And he's foot folded for about the 4th time on a second serve. Levels this tie break now, 5-all.
Rafter.
Well, regaining his composure in the best way.
I think there was a bit behind that one as well. However, it's match point to Pat Rafter, but it's Sampras serving. And there it is. Pat Rafter hits back after a disappointing day at the office yesterday. Successful in straight sets, just on an hour and a half. Winning the tiebreaker 7 points to 5.
Well, certainly, Sandy, he'll be relieved, I think, to play a lot better than he had previously. He's been practicing well in his form. He's been quite confident when he came here at the start of the tournament. And so yesterday's loss really rocked him. But today it was back to what we're more likely to see from Rafter. Served and volleyed well. His backhand was good today. And it was still a bit of a disappointing display, I thought, from Pete Sampras. As we have a quick look at the stats, you'll see Rafter doing better behind the first serve. Served 9 aces, which is quite a lot for him. And the backhand was very good today for Rafter. 9 winners there. Points won at the net, Pete just ahead. And Sampras again well in command of the unforced errors.
So Patrick Rafter successful in straight sets. Let's hear what he has to say, especially after the news of talk retirement. Here he is with Brian Smith.
Well, Patrick Rafter, certainly a different game today from yesterday. We did our best with the sun for you too. Did you notice the cloud cover?
Yeah, it was a lot better performance today. It was probably a little bit scrappy in the first match. And Pete and I generally have pretty good matches as well, so, well, they're definitely tight matches. It was just good to go out there and hit the ball well.
Because neither of you give any ground.
Well, we like to try to get to the net before the other guy. We both know that, I know that Pete's very strong with the net and he's very, very quick, and you want to try and get to the net before he does.
But your serving today was better, your ground shots were better. It was a turnaround completely from yesterday.
It's also a very different match. You know, you can't take anything away from Evgeny. He hits the ball very flat, and he was hitting the ball very hard yesterday as well, and it was very difficult for me to get any timing. And on my serve today, the sun wasn't there till the very last second, and this is a time that it comes around and makes it very difficult for both of us.
I woke up this morning, as indeed most of Australia woke up, to hear radio reports, newspaper reports of almost the imminent retirement of Patrick Rafter. Now, what's the true story on that?
Well, it's one of those things that you don't want to say this is definite, and I never said that it's going to be definite. It's just starting to head that way. I don't really know if I'll be back at the Australian Open, and I wanted to make the news well, not the news, but I wanted to make the Australian public know that and do it in my own country, that if I'm going to retire, that it looks probably more possible now than what it will be next year. And it will be at the end of the year, and unfortunately we can't play a tournament to finish off in Australia. It's at the beginning of the year, so it's not 100% sure, but it looks that way.
Is it the injury, the rotator cuff in the shoulder, the preparation you have to go through each morning to get your shoulder moving, frustration, tired of the game, or combination of all circs?
Oh, it's a real grind. It's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. You know, we do travel the world, but we do stuck in a hotel room, and it gets very boring after 12 years of doing this. And then you get on a plane and you're off to another country, and that may sound great, but it's very tough. But as I said, you know, I always want to keep my options open, and I'll never say this is definite, and you never know, and that's the way I want to leave it.
You do a heck of a lot of work off court. I know you don't bring it up yourself, but we know the charitable work you do. It's not, your life isn't totally tennis. You've got a lot of diversions, a lot of things you do off court. So tennis isn't your 100% life.
I think you've got to put life in perspective sometimes. I like to try and see, you know, life as everything, not just tennis. Right now, I mean, my concentration is right on tennis, there's no doubt about it, but there's more to life than tennis, and I recognise that, and I'm sure a lot of the other players do too, and I'm going to try and help out when I finish my career.
Well, Patrick, it was great to see you back in form today. Good luck for the rest of the Kooyong Classic. You're a great favourite here at Kooyong, in Australia generally. And all the very best in the Australian Open and whatever you decide on your future.
Thank you, Bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Rafter.